G'day guys, Aaron from Two Sleeps in a Gully here. As you can see, I am all set for tonight's festivities, and that is, of course, the beginning of the World Test Championship final. It's Australia's first trip to the final. You could say that we were very unlucky not to be our second, COVID impacting what likely would have been a series win over in South Africa that would have got us to the final for the first one. But here we are. We're here for number 2. This is the only trophy, the only ICC trophy that Australia has not won, and so we are ready and raring to go. It's going to be a big 8 weeks of cricket for Australia, but arguably the 6 biggest tests Australia's had in recent history. World Test Championship final, knock it out of the way, and then the opportunity to win the Ashes for the first time in England for 22 years. Huge couple of weeks coming up. India are going to be a fantastic opponent. Their second World Test Championship final in a row. They'll be looking to overcome the heartbreak of the first final and get themselves on the board and get that mace, falling short to New Zealand in the last one. So 2 teams that are very familiar with each other, having just had a tour over in India. They're going to be ready and raring to go. It's going to be a fantastic game, I'm hoping. Hopefully England's weather doesn't interfere too much, but luckily we have the reserve day, so that's going to be good. So there's been some conjecture online over the last few weeks, and it's over which ball they're going to be using. It has been confirmed, obviously, that it's going to be the Duke ball, so that's going to be good. Australia is very familiar with using the Duke ball over in England as well. Plenty of games over there, lots of players over there plying their trade in county. But I think the biggest thing for this game is going to be how the top order deals with the new ball, because I think both bowling lineups are going to do an excellent job using the Duke ball. So it's going to come down to who's going to get more out of, who's going to be able to apply pressure back on the bowlers more out of, Rohit Sharma, Kohli and co versus Warner, Khawaja, Smith and co. The top 4s are going to have a big job to do, because as we know, that Duke ball, once the lacquer comes off, it really starts to go. So there's a lot in it for the bowlers. It looks like this pitch is going to be a bit greener than the one we saw at Lords for the Ireland-England game. So there's probably going to be a bit in it. But the oval tends to be one that can flatten out and turn into a pretty good batting track later on. So if you win the toss and bat, obviously you need to go out there and survive for the first probably 2 sessions. And really put yourselves into a position to capitalise for the next couple of days. And if you bowl first, you obviously need to do a lot of work early with that new ball. Keep the runs down and get yourselves into the game, because you know that the game's then going to come back to you for your turn to bat, and you're hoping to then maybe you're looking at somewhere where you only have to bat once if it really dries out, and then using your spinners, either Lyon or I'm assuming Jadeja. He's primarily been used in English conditions. To maybe restrict them and win by an innings, but it's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait. Been keeping an eye on this one for a while. Pat Cummins announced his bowling lineup, which essentially puts the whole team into where it's going to be. Josh Hazlewood went out with injury, so it became down between Scott Bolland and Michael Neser for the final spot. Personally, at Two Sleeps in the Gully, we were hoping for Michael Neser. As you all know, we're massive Neser fans, and not just because we're fans. I still maintain that Neser would have been the better choice, but they went with Scott Bolland. Neser's got lots of experience using the Duke ball. He's been killing it over in county over there. He's a genuine swing bowler. Bolland's more line and length, nipping it off the seam. I think Bolland will get a lot more out of that Duke. Neser will get a lot more out of that Duke ball while it's still new than what Bolland will. And you've still got Cummins, who can bowl that line and length, nipping it off the seam sort of line. And Neser extends the tail as well. You're batting him at 8, and he's more than a capable bat. So in conditions where it is doing a little bit, lengthening that tail, lengthening that batting lineup is probably where I'd go. But Scott Bolland, every time the question has been asked of him, he has delivered in spades. So not saying that Bolland's not going to do a good job. I personally, utilising their skill sets, would have went Michael Neser with the extra swing bowling, but they've gone Bolland. Bolland has been a phenomenal player for Australia since he started, so best of luck to him. Hope he gets there across the line and takes a bag. As for that, largely means that the lineup will be set. Warner and Khawaja will be at the top. You'll have Marnus Labuschagne and Smith at 3 and 4. Travis Head will come back down the order to 5. Cam Green will resume his spot at 6 as the all-rounder, and Carey, of course, the wicketkeeper at 7. So that's, the only real the real question mark was going to be whether or not Boland made it in for Hazelwood or Nisa, and that's obviously been answered. As for India, I think India are missing a bit of a trick, losing Bumrah and Pant. I would have called it pretty even Stevens, maybe even nudged it a little bit towards India with some of the inconsistencies, especially with Warner at the top and, things like that. Maybe 55-45 India if they were fully fit, but without Bumrah and without Pant, they're two big losses in these conditions, and I think that Australia's probably got the edge. I'm going to go maybe 65-35, 60-40 Australia. They are very familiar with those English conditions, and we've had players over in county preparing, unlike the Indians who have been in the IPL, and they don't play, other than Pujara, obviously, don't really come over. So they're big losses. But that being said, India is still a very, very good side, and they've proven over the last 18 months that they're more than capable of playing in England. So Australia's going to have their work cut out. I do think they've got the slight edge, but not by enough to really mean a great deal. And, cricket is a funny game and go a long way. So it's going to be very interesting to see the makeup of that side. I would be predicting that Shami, Siraj and Thakur will be their bowling lineup. And then maybe the extra quick as well. I think they're probably only going to play Jadeja, and Jadeja plays a bat, so I don't know if they'll play Ashwin. So then you might then see room for someone like a Umesh Yadav to come in there, and they'll go with that four-prong pace attack, and then Jadeja to be the spinner. So it'll be interesting. There's only a couple of hours to go now until the game starts. Cannot wait. It's going to be a cracking contest, and hopefully Australia can get this one across the line and we complete our ICC trophy cupboard. Until I'll be doing the same thing I did for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. I will be doing some videos at the end of the day's play, and you can see whether or not I'm happy or sad and what I thought of the day's play. So until then, guys, bye for now.